Practice is going great. We have an older group, which kind of makes it nice. The new facility is working out great, right here, obviously on campus, and coupled with the AstroTurf, we've got a lot of good work outside, so that's always a key in the early spring.
Yeah, and then just kind of topical, the WCC poll just released. You guys were placed number 3 behind San Diego and Portland. Just talk about the other teams in your conference, and maybe also Tommy and Justin for getting some recognition as well.
Yeah, I think as far as the preseason prediction, we don't really put a lot of emphasis on that, and then even in today's day and age with the portal and a lot of movement, it's really difficult to know what teams have because they have a lot of new bodies and they come from different places. So that is what it is. I think Portland and San Diego have a few returning starters, and so that's why you saw them ended up on top, and then we have some veteran players too. But again, there's a lot of new faces, a lot of new movement, and so we just got to worry about ourselves and continue to get better every day. And Justin and Tommy both obviously great players and older leaders, and we're just real excited about the year that they can have and being out there and taking more of a leadership role this year.
You talked about the facility a little bit earlier. How does that really help you guys, especially during these cold months? You're preparing for the season, but you get an opportunity to work indoors. How does that just boost your overall program?
Yeah, the warehouse was great for us, but this is a little different in terms of just being right here on campus. It makes it a lot more efficient as far as getting kids to and from school and classes. And plus, they can use this all hours of the day. Whatever. There's no time constraints. And certainly, the AstroTurf has made a big deal for us. The field turf, where we can be outside unless there's 3 or 4 inches of snow, then we'd have to plow it.
Talk about the home series against BYU. I think it's the first time you guys are going to host a game in February since 2008. Was that just a scheduling thing? Do you feel like the indoor facility helped with that at all? Or maybe just talk about BYU bringing them in as a home.
Yeah, and BYU, they're obviously now they're no longer in our league. They're a good team for us to play because they're a cold weather team, and then they're plus. Not a lot of teams are willing to play us home and home. They'll bring us there and give us a guarantee, but they won't come back. And BYU has always come back, and so that's what we're looking for. And it's a little aggressive with that early in the year, but with the AstroTurf and our facility, we feel like we have a good chance of getting those in.
Do you have any idea who the Friday night starter is going to be?
Not for sure yet. It's still kind of up in the air. Probably a combination of Feld, Gostola, and Graham. But there's still, even though there's only less than 2 weeks, there still could be some movement.
This program historically has had a lot of great pitching, but I know last year I think you guys walked the second most hitters in the WCC. Is establishing control early in counts important to you, and just kind of what's the focus this year or approach with the pitching staff?
Yeah, I think that's always been a focus. A lot of times where you have big arms, with high velocity, you're going to have some walks. But I do think the strike throwing and working ahead and being able to throw your breaking ball in neutral and when you're behind in the count, I think those are emphasis. And it is cyclical. It just you got the draft, you got the portal, you got some things where you got some injuries, and it doesn't take much to set you off. And I feel like we'll pitch the ball really well this year.
Are there any transfers, position players, and pitchers, just transfer-wise, that you're excited about?
Well, there's a lot of them. Probably too many to mention. A couple guys that have had experience that are going to get some quality innings out of our bullpen. Hopberg probably would start as a closer today, but a lot of times we'll have to play matchups, so we'll go left, right-handed matchups, and we've got a couple guys that I think can help us with that.
Do you have anything?
Yeah, I was just, is there anything that's surprised you so far, just in watching these guys in practice a little bit?
I think it's really what it is. I don't know if it's a surprise, but what's been nice to see is that just because we have, this brand new facility, that guys are spending a lot of time in here and getting a lot of extra work in, and I feel like that's gonna pay off, not only from the standpoint of just honing their skills, but also just from a culture thing.
You talked about some transfers you brought in. Sounds like you've got some strong returners too. Is there anything that is going to look different for you guys this year that fans can be expecting?
Well, I think this year, we mentioned before, I think we'll do a better job of throwing strikes, and I also think we'll We'll be a little more dynamic on offense. We got a better blend of some power and some speed, and some guys that can hit for average. So I think with those two things, I think that will help us quite a bit.
Talk a little bit about Peyton Graham, guy who was ranked top 100 in MLB's draft. I think just their rankings. Talk about him. I know he struggled with command, but also has a fastball that I think tops out at 97. What does he bring to your bullpen or your starting staff? Just what is he as a pitcher to you?
Yeah, he's done him. Obviously, he's got the big arm, and that keeps getting better. The velo keeps climbing, but the strike throwing ability and not only to be able to throw strikes with his fastball, but the off-speed command has really made a jump. And he did that kind of last year, especially towards the end, and he's continued to work on that, and that's going to really be the difference maker for him.
Preparation for this year.
It's going well. I feel like we're in a good spot right now. Aside from the last couple of days, we've had really good weather, and we've been fortunate enough to be outside for the first couple of weeks we've been back. So that's been big. And even though the weather's come in, we got this facility, which has also been huge. So still been getting better. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned the facility. How do you feel like that elevates your program, and especially training during these cold months, having this facility here to work through?
Oh, it's huge because especially the turf field, we wouldn't be able to practice a lot of these days. And then this facility is obviously, it's awesome having this right here, and we can just go and get swings whenever. We can pull up those nets and do defense in there. So yeah, it's definitely big.
Yeah, you had a big season last year. You were named to the WCC preseason team this year. Was there anything in particular that you worked on over the off season?
I'd say just continuing to work on the things I need to work at. Defense, just picking the ball. I'd say hitting the inside fastball a little bit better. Just continuing to practice those in the off season, and yeah, just working hard.
What are some of your big goals for this season, or things that you'd like to see come together?
Win as many games as possible. I really want to make a regional this year. And I think that's the number one goal: win the conference and make a regional.
Just kind of talk about just your guys' overall approach at the plate. I know Gonzaga is rarely near the top of the WCC in home runs, so I'm curious, is it kind of a situational hitting approach? Just what does Coach Mack tell you guys just when you're in the box, and just kind of what to think about when you're in there?
It'd definitely be good situational hitting, and just good fight with 2 strikes, and stick with our plan and not straying from that. So.
I know you have BYU visiting pretty soon. Are there any other opponents on your schedule that you're looking forward to facing, maybe in Portland, maybe San Diego?
I mean, it's always nice to get payback for teams that may have knocked you out in the past, but all the game, it doesn't really matter who we're playing. We're playing against the game, so it's more about playing our way rather than facing an opponent.
Are there any transfers or newcomers in general that have caught your eye so far, or that you think could make an immediate impact?
I think there's a ton of guys that could possibly make an impact. Tai Yukamoto, Mikey Bell, Luca. So yeah, we definitely got some guys who have the potential to make a big impact.
How are you feeling just about the rest of the WCC this year? Just the strength of the conference. You could talk about the past or the present if you've gotten a chance to look at rosters. If you haven't, just kind of who are those teams that you guys are looking at?
I haven't really looked at too much into the current teams this year in the WCC. But like I said, it's always nice to get some payback for teams that have got you in the past. So USD, Portland, looking forward to facing them. But yeah, more just playing our game.
Individually and as a team?
Really as a team, I mean, it's every team's goal to obviously go to Omaha, but there's little steps that need to happen, like when WCC tournament, making a regional. Those are our first goals. Personal goal, just put quality start after quality start up on the board to help this team out. So.
And then how do you feel like this indoor facility has elevated this program, especially during these colder months when you guys are trying to get ready?
Yeah, no, it's been a huge help for us in this program. Obviously, there's days we can't go outside in Spokane, and it really helps us. We can take ground balls in there, see live pitching. It's really just helped our program overall.
How do you feel about the rotation this year from yourself and other guys? Just talk about that.
Oh yeah, I think we got a good group of guys this year on our staff, and we should be able to put together a good staff and be able to compete with every team in the country.
What's kind of the focus this year? I know, last season you guys I think were second in the WCC in terms of walks. Is command a big emphasis this year? What is Coach Mack telling you guys and the other coaches as well?
Yeah, really just being aggressive and attacking hitters, get them 2 strikes as fast as we can. That's obviously our goals as pitchers is get ahead in counts and trust your defense and let them make some plays for us.
Are there any opponents this year that you're particularly looking forward to?
There's a few, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
put anything out there.
Has there been anything that's surprised you so far as you guys get ready to start the season?
Really just how good of a group of guys we have. You know, it's hard to put together such a good group of guys nowadays with the transfer portal and everything. You got guys leaving, coming in. But yeah, really just how close we are as a team. So
I got a chance to speak with Peyton once, and he said that you guys play angry. Do you feel like sometimes that's true? Do you feel like that's fair? Is there a chip on your guys' shoulder, at least these last few years?
I would say at some points, you know, in the games, it's you know, you need to play with a little bit of emotion. Sometimes that emotion comes out when we're on the field. But yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.